very unhappy that, we've got 15-year-old kids in the village, that we didn't feel that was appropriate to have someone with that record in the village. And I think at least that has been handled and addressed, but it's not a great situation.
Let's talk to the man at the top, Andy Anson, Chief Executive of the British Olympic Association. Hello, Andy.
Hi, good afternoon.
What's your mood? Are you incredibly excited, really excited, just excited? What is it?
A mixture of just like focused on making sure everything's in perfect order, and then excitement, want the sport to get going and it all to start. But I've just been in the Olympic Village for the last few hours and with a bunch of our athletes and team leaders and medical staff, and there's a really positive environment. It feels like everyone's in a really good place. I spent 5 days in rounds at the prep camp there with the swimmers, gymnasts, boxers, and a few others. And then I went to Saint-Germain-en-Laye, where the track and field and the rugby teams have been training. And there's just it's quite a relaxed atmosphere.
Yeah.
But now it's just getting more and more focused as we get near the competition. So, yeah, it's really exciting.
Has the incident involving Charlotte Desjardins and the fact that she's had to withdraw after that horrifying video, has it had any impact at all on morale?
I would say not with the athletes. I mean, part of our job is to handle that. You never know what's coming around the next corner in these jobs when you do them. But part of our job is to make sure we manage those issues and make sure the athletes aren't really paying too much attention. They get on with what they're trying to do. Clearly, her colleagues in the dressage team and the other equestrian events will be more attuned to that. But no, I was with a bunch of our athletes at the flag bearer ceremony that we had at the embassy last night, and they're just so focused on doing what they're doing that I don't think it is an issue for them at all.
Right. And the other story that has been, well, frankly, outraging a lot of people here is the participation in the volleyball competition at the Olympics of this man, Steven van der Velde, the convicted rapist. Surely, can you reassure us that no one with that sort of criminal record would ever be allowed to compete for Team GB?
It would be staggering if they were. I mean, from the first moment we heard about it. Well, can I first say, in a way, I hate talking about it because, there was a young woman whose life was badly spoiled by what
Absolutely,
happened.
yeah.
And we kind of all just focus on this guy, and it's probably not the right way to focus. But no, I mean, I don't think our safeguarding policies and approach would allow that to happen. I think I can't see a situation where that would ever be allowed. I mean, it's about as bad a crime as you can imagine in many ways when you describe it. And so, we did make our displeasure known to the IOC and to the Dutch team, and we were very unhappy that, we've got 15-year-old kids in the village, that we didn't feel that was appropriate to have someone with that record in the village. And I think at least that has been handled and addressed, but it's not a great situation.
So to be clear then, it was only after you raised concerns that this man was told he couldn't stay in the Olympic Village?
I think the Dutch were genuinely surprised by the feeling from other nations about this, and therefore I think they suddenly realised they had to do something.
Yeah, I mean, should he be there at all?
As I say, I mean, Anna Mears from Australia said he wouldn't have been in their team. I think it's, unlikely to be in our team. But we're in a world of 206 nations in the Olympic Games, where everyone's got their own laws and their own rules. So you just have to accept some things that are unpalatable in your own country are more palatable in others, and it's one of those things you just have to get on with.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Yeah,
Sadly,
I know. Yeah, I absolutely get why you're so, well, upset about it. I think a lot of people really are. Let's move on to medal hopes. I mean, it isn't, as Fee was saying, it's not all about winning, but it kind of is. What's so brilliant about Paris, of course, for those of us who will just watch and listen to as much as we possibly can over the next fortnight, is that the time works out brilliantly. So, I mean, I've basically, I'm completely occupied now for the next fortnight, and that will mean that lives will be changed. Keely Hodgkinson could become Britain's most famous athlete in the blink of an eye, couldn't she?
Let's hope. Let's hope. She's, as I say, I've just been with the track and field guys in the prep camp in Saint-Germain-en-Laye, just to the west of Paris. And actually, this morning, the Princess Royal has just gone out to meet with the track and field team, and I know that she had a very long chat with Keely, private conversation, but there's a bunch of them, right? I mean, obviously Josh Kerr in the 1500 as well. He's got that fantastic battle coming up with Ingebrigtsen, which we're all looking forward to. The Matt Hudson-Smith, I saw him do the 200 at the British trials and then win the Diamond League in the 400. He looks like he's on fire as well. Molly Cordery coming through in the pole jump, from nowhere ahead of the Budapest World Championships. It really does feel like we've got a bunch of amazing stories that are about to emerge over the next couple of weeks.
Well, we're really, really looking forward to it. And the opening ceremony on the river, how much do you know about it? Is Lady Gaga really going to perform?
I don't know that we never get told those. I would reckon so, given that she's in Paris and along with Celine Dion. But we've got the athletes going on the boat. We've obviously got Helen Glover and Tom Daly carrying the flags on that boat. Our team have been working very hard to reduce the amount of time that it takes to get from the village through the procession and then back to the village, so that the athletes don't get too tired. But it's all going to, be happening on Friday night, and it's going to be quite amazing. I've decided to go to Team GB House, where we've got a bunch of guests. We've got about 300 people in Team GB House. Will be watching it live on the big screen there, but with entertainment going on and celebrating it together. So it's going to be a brilliant night. And then Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, I know that I'm watching diving in the diving arena, the 3 meter synchro platform for women. So then it's full on. So yeah, it's all going to get going.
And Team GB House is fully stocked up with, what is it, 47,000 million tea bags, 900 pots of Marmite. I mean, all the home comforts are there.
Well, Team GB House is our hospitality venue, so actually there's more Night Timber sparkling wine and Corona beer than tea bags in that place. But no, the Performance Lodge, where we take our athletes out of the village to go and train in the city of Clichy, is being very well used. And there's a bit of an issue in the Olympic Village with the quality and availability of food. And actually, a lot of our athletes are deciding to go and eat in our Performance Lodge and then bring food back from the Performance Lodge. So we're actually flying another chef in to help build the capacity in the Performance Lodge so that we can cater to all the demands of the athletes.
Well, I thought the French had made a big thing about how they were improving the athletes' food, and it was all going to be fabulous French stuff.
There's always a couple of things at the beginning of each games that surprise you, and the big one at the moment is the food in the village is not up to standard, and I think they're spending hours on the chef de mission calls in the morning addressing it. It's probably the single biggest problem, along with the usual transportation problems.
This is golden. What are they complaining about? What's wrong with the food?
Oh God, not enough eggs. I mean, I could give you a list: raw meat being served, not enough eggs, not enough volume of certain carbohydrates. It's a number of things that seem to be getting complaints from across the board. So they're having to address it very quickly. I'm sure they will. I mean, there's always something like this, and by day 2 or 3, it goes away as an issue. But it's definitely today's issue.
God, you can't have athletes eating raw meat a couple of days before competition.
Not unless they want to.
No.
Well, yeah, and they might. Some of them might. Andy, really wish you the very best of luck, and our best wishes to Team GB as well. I hope it's a hugely successful Olympics for everyone, actually, because imagine what it would be like to take part. I mean, it's not going to happen to us now, is it? Outrageously.
Well, I think the Olympics of the third age now pose into view, Jane, and we could both participate in that. Do you know what? I love that tiny detail of the fact that Team GB has taken English sparkling wine to the home of champagne.